I'm Sharon Holly, certified yoga therapist, and I am so grateful to be here with you this afternoon at 2 o'clock. This is going to be our daily yoga time after today for 10 more days. And today we're focusing on sleep. So for any of you who have trouble sleeping, either going to sleep at night or falling asleep at night, or waking up in the middle of the night and having trouble going back to sleep, this is the place to be. I have a variety of techniques I'm going to share with you today because everybody is different, right? And there's no one size fits all. And so it's important to have options. And honestly, some days certain techniques work, and some days different techniques work. And so I'm going to explore these with you. And you'll see bits of them throughout the practice as I go through the week. But today's intended specifically for sleep. And then tomorrow we're going to start the first of a 10-day program where it's going to be a similar routine every day to get you into the habit of a daily exercise, a daily yoga practice to help support you physically, mentally, and emotionally. And I'm going to incorporate some of these things in that. I have some ideas and I'll share with you tomorrow. So I'm super excited. I'm so grateful you're here today. And for those of you who heard my talk about yoga as therapy, and for those who didn't, I'll just give you just a little quick recap in the fact that yoga as therapy is lifestyle, right? So if we're here talking about yoga for sleep, I do feel like I want to just bring in a few of those lifestyle support systems that are important in addition. And so in addition to the yoga asana, right? The asana is the movement. And then, of course, we have our breath. There's so many branches of yoga, and we're focusing on a lot of times people think of the asana, the movement, right? But when we're thinking about the mindfulness, the breathing, those are all part of yoga. And so I have a little sheet that I like to always kind of refer back to, just so I make sure. So one thing that I find is super important, and what I want to say about this, by the way, too, is that I don't consider myself a sleep expert by any chance. I've had trouble sleeping. I have students and I have clients who have trouble sleeping, and I've studied a lot with a variety of teachers, and I've put together like the potpourri of routines that will be supportive. So what I invite you to do, especially for this beginning part, these are invitations to try, right? Try these out. Notice how you feel in the day. And for those of you who are going to come to the yoga practice, maybe have a little journal. If you have even just some paper that you start to track. We're going to start to track things in our body that we notice, right? So sensations, we're going to track energy level, and we're going to track maybe little things in our day that we notice makes a difference. So the first thing I'd like to start with is exercise. So noticing if you're having trouble, did you exercise that day? Okay. And if you didn't, there's no judgment or anything like that. But notice on a day that you do exercise if there's a difference in sleep. Okay. Sometimes there may be, sometimes not. But I know that there are studies that have shown that exercise really helps support the whole system, right? We all know that. We know that we feel better physically, mentally, emotionally when we exercise. So of course that's going to help keep us in balance. And so if we exercise, that will support our system to be able to sleep better. This is a diet of fresh foods. I know the American Institute of Cancer Research has been doing lots of talks, and I know we had someone talking yesterday. I'm not remembering his name right now. Wonderful doctor, but a diet of variety of fresh vegetables and fruits. Right. So doing the best we can to incorporate that. Limiting caffeine, limiting processed foods. I know this is a harder time to find certain foods, and it has been for several months. So doing the best that we can, right? And notice again, how do you feel when you eat something that is not processed or does not have sugar or caffeine in it, right? And I'm not talking about torturing ourselves, but just to notice. One thing for me, and I say that too, I say also sugar and caffeine, especially later in the day. So there was a point where I heard this in a workshop and I was like, wow, I never thought about that. If I have chocolate, now I know that there's different kinds of chocolate out there. And so being someone who's had breast cancer, I go towards that, right? The dark, the cacao with not too much sugar, right? That is, they show there's a lot of health benefits for that. But you know what? If I have that late in my day, for me, that means like anytime after 5, it can affect my sleep. Now, I'll fall asleep okay. That's where I get confused because I fall asleep just fine, but I wake up in the middle of the night sometimes. And so notice that. Again, possibly for you, maybe not. Wine, right, is another one. I don't drink wine, I don't drink alcohol, but some people do like to do that. It helps them go to sleep. Does it help if you wake up in the middle of the night? So just to notice, okay? Doing your best. I try to eat at least or a few hours before I'm going to go to sleep. You want to have your body have time to process the food, right? So whatever time, everyone's on different time schedules. I had been saying a certain time, and I'm feeling like I don't want to do that anymore because different people are on different medications, and there's just so many stipulations around that. So just know that that you've given your body enough time to digest the food and be able to come into rest. So does anybody have that mind that wants to think about all those things we have to do tomorrow or the next week or for over the month, right? If you can, if you haven't already, write them down. I've actually sometimes have a piece of paper next to me on my nightstand. So if I have something in my head that's just ruminating, I don't have to get up and go write it down. So just get it out of here, put it down, and then knowing that it's done, it's there, it's out of your head, okay? So that's one that I find really helpful. If you're someone who likes a warm bath, if you're able to take one, or a warm shower, sometimes with essential oils or an oil bath, it can be really relaxing. Again, if that's something you find helpful, some people don't like to do that, but kind of the idea of rinsing off for the day, calming the nervous system down. So that can be a supportive tool. So these are sleep habits. I don't know if I said that word, right? Creating habits for ourselves, habits or hygiene. What is it that we do? Like getting ourselves into a routine in the evening. And so this is the hardest one for many of us. And that is computer and screen, TV time, all that kind of stuff. So it's really recommended to turn that off a minimum of 30 minutes before going to bed. 30 minutes. I try for 60, and I know that that would be ideal. And again, paying attention. If we have a screen on, it's going to mess with our, I have a word coming into mind, the melatonin production in our brain, right? That helps us to sleep. So it affects our endocrine system, which affects our nervous system, which affects our sleep, which can affect our immune system, right? We know it's important to get sleep. And so we don't want to have those screens and those lights on before we're going to bed at night. So I try, a routine for me looks something like this lately, okay? Where I'm turning off the TV probably about an hour before I'm going to sleep. I'm not a huge screen person. I'm not a big iPhone. I don't even have one. But sometimes I go on my iPad, but I try to turn it off an hour before. And then I go into my bedroom and I have an essential oil diffuser, right? Put on some essential oils, get those going. I brush my teeth, maybe take a bath. Sometimes I read. So just kind of winding down, right? I have a foam roller, maybe do a little stretching, a little breathing. We are going to do just a little short, like 10-minute routine that you can do in bed. We're going to do that in just a moment. And so doing a little stretching, a little breathing to help the body discharge any last bits of energy from the day. So we're going to do that. And then I've got some other mindfulness techniques. But that's what it looks like. So winding down the body, right? There's so much information coming at us now that we really need to kind of down regulate. For those of you who came to the nervous system workshop yesterday, and hopefully if you missed it, you'll be able to have an opportunity to go back and watch it. But I also kind of weave this into all my classes because it's so important to understand the nervous system and being able to down-regulate ourselves, okay? So comfort, pillows, bedding, all that good kind of stuff, right? If we're lying down, if you're on your side and your head is tilted like this, that means that your pillow is not thick enough. You want to have your neck in line with your spine. So see how here that my neck is nice in line with my spine. If I'm like this, I need to have it needs to be a little bit higher. Now, if I'm tilted the other way, that means my pillow is too high. You can feel that in your neck. I was surprised the first time I worked with my yoga therapist. She actually had me bring my pillow to our session. And I was like, wow, my head and neck are not in alignment. So that might be a little light bulb that's going off for you. That's super important in sleep, right? Maybe you need a pillow for your legs if you have any lower back issues, or if you have just, discomfort for any reason. Maybe you need to lie on your back right now if you've had surgery. Maybe your legs are elevated. So whatever you need, make it cozy and comfy. And then this is a fun one. So for a while I was saying to people, don't look at your clock. Whatever you do, if you wake up in the middle of the night, don't look at your clock. And what I found out from people is that that doesn't work for everybody. So this is my new train of thinking is, does that help you? And so here's the example I like to give, okay? For me, if I wake up in the middle of the night, sometimes to go to the bathroom, right, and I come back in, and if my mind hasn't started going, but I'm maybe a quick moment of, oh, I wonder what time it is, and I look at the clock and I see, oh gosh, it's only 1 o'clock. Oh, I need to get back to sleep. I need to wake up in the morning, right? Then that starts the whole process of, oh no, I need to get to sleep, and that can disrupt my sleep. The other part of that could be I look when I wake up and it's 5 in the morning and I have to wake up at 6:30 and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's too early. I only have an hour and a half left. I need to get back to sleep, So those are kind of what happens to me. Now I have heard from other people that if they wake up and they look at the clock at say 1 in the morning, they go, oh, good, I've got the rest of the night to go back to the sleep, and it helps keep them at peace. Same thing in the morning. They go, oh, gosh, I still have another hour and a half. I'm going to go back to sleep. And they feel better, right? So which one are you? See how this is so individual and how I'm talking to a group right now? So I like to give you both sides and let you decide. This is not me telling you, this is what you need to do to go to sleep. This is what you should do. This is what you ought to be doing. None of that. These are ideas. These are thoughts, these are concepts that have worked for others, and you get to decide what works for you, okay? So the last one I'm going to leave with this, again, this habits and hygiene part is to have the bedroom be for sleep, right? And so some people, I know if reading is part of your routine or a little bit of movement's part of your routine, great. But if you're finding that you're having trouble sleeping and you start to bring other things into the bedroom, again, this is something I've heard from someone, maybe for you this works or doesn't work, but that then it becomes, oh, now I'm doing these other things. So some people will say, give yourself a certain amount of time. What does that look like for you? Maybe it's 15 minutes. Oh, you know what? I'm not going to go back to sleep. Maybe I should just get up and go take a shower now, or go take a bath, or go read in the other room, or something like that. If you feel like you need to leave the bedroom, or you might have somebody else in your bedroom, so you might have to go leave the room anyway. So see what's true for you. For me, I kind of do I kind of estimate in my body 30 minutes to 45 minutes. I'd say typically the most I'm up would be an hour, and I don't exactly know that time because I don't look at the clock anymore, right? So that comes back to, are you looking at the clock? So that's a lot of information. Some of these you might have already explored for yourself, and maybe there's a new one in there. I hope that there's something new that you heard today that might help you. Okay, and remember, I am available. You can message me at some point. I've been going to Hoove at night, and I'm trying to figure things out, but I realize I can, check in with some of you who've been coming to my workshops. I'm going to have a place for you to come at some point in my exhibit hall once I get that sorted out. But I really, Sharon at SharonHolly.com is the best way to reach me. I don't want you to just have this and then not remember something if you need support. I really want to be here to help you as much as I can. Okay. And so, and with that, I have these written down too. And so I have a sheet that I can, I think I can upload it to my exhibit hall again, or I can send it to you. So with all that, let's take a big, nice, deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And again, in through the nose. Notice where you're holding. Maybe you want to close your eyes for a moment. Maybe find a soft gaze. Feeling your body settling into this moment. And just notice how you feel right now. Right? Is your mind kind of buzzing with the information I just gave you or with information from the previous session? So just notice that for this moment. Notice what that is. And then see if you can come back to something on your body in this moment. Maybe your feet where they're touching the earth. Maybe where you're touching the ground if you're sitting. Maybe your seat. Maybe the crown of your head. Maybe your shoulders, your jaw. And I'm going to invite you to think about where you'd like to go for, where you'd like to be, what position you'd like to be in for the remainder of the session. So you have the option of staying here if you're seated, or coming down onto either the ground or onto your bed or onto the couch. Okay. So see what's going to make the most sense for you. I'm going to go ahead and open my eyes. You can open your eyes if they're closed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down onto the ground because I think that that's going to be the best place for you to be able to see what I'm going to do in this little routine. Just for, again, it's like 10 minutes of a routine. This can totally be done modified, seated. You can just follow along with the breath if any of the movements don't feel right for you, because the breath is like a really key part to this. But again, you can do it on a bed, on a couch, just somewhere that's going to be comfortable for you. And then I'm going to move into the mindfulness techniques, okay, that require not much at all, no movement, right? And again, comfort, most comfortable position for you. So I will give you that little caveat that you might fall asleep. So I don't know if you're ready for a nap. Sometimes this time of day, some people are like ready for a little bit of a nap. So if you are feeling like you need a nap, then use this time for that, right? And if you, I will say at the end, if you want to come out of this, and I'll guide you out of it. But if you want to stay resting, you're welcome to stay resting, depending upon what your body needs. Okay. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move myself down to the ground. Whoops, move my chair out of the way. If you have any water, I invite you to go ahead and grab a sip of water. Okay. I just did that again now. I put my chair away and I'm thinking about for anybody. I'm sorry, I'm going to bring it back because I just realized if you need help, if you are going to come down to the ground, you need some help. This is a nice way to get down. You can put some cushion if you need for your knees, right? You can use the chair. I'm going to go ahead and move it out of my way now. I'm all about like trying to get things out of the way, but if you need that support. All right. So we're going to start with a little extended exhale breathing, which again can be done seated or lying down. I'm going to stay here for a moment. And I'm just going to go ahead and begin to guide you into this extended exhalation breathing. For those of you who've been in my workshops for the last few days, you might have already experienced this. So it might be a review for you. And for those who are new, we're going to take a nice deep breath in through the nose. And either out through the mouth or out through the nose, just let your exhale just kind of wash over you, right? Nice, smooth exhalation. Maybe one more like that. And perhaps beginning to count the number of seconds it takes for you to exhale. I'm going to go ahead and come onto my back, and you might want to bring one hand to your belly and one hand to your chest. Okay, if that feels comfortable for you, or both hands onto your belly. And just begin to count the number of seconds it takes for you to exhale. Maybe it's 1, 2, 3. Maybe it's 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Maybe it's 5. So just see what makes sense for you, okay? What is natural? How many seconds is your body naturally exhaling, okay? And again, you can do this seated if you prefer. If you are in your back, if you have any back issues, notice I have my knees bent. You can also separate your feet, let your knees drop in. That can be really relaxing for the low back, okay? So again, counting the number of seconds it takes for you to exhale. And what we're going to do now is we're going to slow down the breath. So you're going to add on one more second. So if you were 3 seconds, now maybe you'll be 4. If you were 4 seconds, maybe make it 5. Okay, so again, we're not trying to force the air out. We're not trying to push it to make it last longer. We're just slowing it down. Right? And then maybe even adding on one more second, slowing it down a little bit more. So see what feels right for you today. And you keep doing that until you get to the number that's appropriate. So it might be 6 seconds today. It might be 4 seconds. Whatever it is, that's going to be your extended exhale breath. We also called it settling breath yesterday. So that's your extended exhale breath. And you can bring that in throughout this practice, okay? Slow, long exhales. Notice what happens here. If you begin to yawn, right? If you end up hearing your stomach begin to gurgle, if you have a big sigh that all of a sudden comes out, you know your nervous system is downregulating, and that's good. That's what we want when we're getting ready, preparing our body for sleep, right? Okay. So now, if you feel relaxed and you end up falling asleep, go for it, right? But if you're like, oh, I can still feel my body, I can still feel some movement is needed. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and bring my feet back together again. And I'm just going to go ahead and bring one knee into my chest, okay? So just a gentle hug. I'm grabbing behind my thigh here. Maybe make some circles with my ankle a few times in one direction, and then a few times in the opposite direction. Okay? And I'm going to take a nice inhale here, and exhale, extend my leg, and then bend at the knee. Okay? And I'm going to switch just for fun. Now I'm going to inhale and exhale. See which one of those felt better for you. So is it exhale, extend, and inhale back down? Or inhale and exhale, right? Just see. There's no wrong or right way. I want you to find what feels best for you and continue to move like that. So notice how my knee is not completely straight. I'm stretching a little bit of my hamstring, a little bit of my calf muscle. And what I'm going to invite you to do now is the next time that your knee bends, the next time you exhale, so for me it's an exhale here, take a pause. And then inhale again. Exhale. And take your pause. So I don't want to add confusion. Just notice when you're finished with your exhale, your long exhale, take a pause. So for you, it might be extending. Notice how the back of your leg feels. We're going to go ahead and place that foot back down on the ground. Take a moment and check in. Right? Notice how that feels. And then now we're going to go ahead and bring the opposite leg in towards the chest. Make some circles with the ankle. A few times in one direction and a few times in the other direction. Right? That's it, nice and easy. And then from here again, we're going to extend that leg and bend at the knee. Extend and bend. Notice your breath pattern. How is your breath moving? No wrong, no right answer. Whatever feels best for you. Okay? Now see if you can add in the pause at the end of the exhale. We're not holding the breath, we're just pausing. Extra second. Right? So whatever you get to the end of your exhale, take that pause. So this pausing is a technique to help slow down the nervous system, bring parasympathetic nervous system on, slowing it down. Also a way to focus. right? It's so easy to just start going, oh, I'm just stretching my leg. But if we remember, oh, I need to pause here, okay? Maybe one more time. Pause, beautiful. Bring that knee down, hands to the belly or to the sides, check in, okay? So if you're sitting on the chair, I probably should have told you that before. Just extend and bend your knee, right? Extend and bend your knee. Okay, so now whether you're sitting or lying down, we're going to separate those feet again as wide as the mat, let the knees drop in. And we're going to move into our windshield wiper twist. But we're going to do this moving only on the exhale. Again, a very calming breathing pattern for the nervous system. Okay, so this is how it's going to look. Inhale and center. Exhale, let the knees just kind of flop over to the side. So they're opening here. Think about windshield wipers. Stay here and inhale. Exhale, let the knees come back to center. Stay here and center. Inhale. Exhale, let the knees flop over. See, there's a little bit of space. They're kind of moving. Think about windshield wipers. Stay here and inhale. Exhale, back to center. Stay for the inhale. Exhale over. Again, this is for focus. How many of you are just moving inhale, exhale, right? It's so easy to start to do that again. This helps us pause. This helps us stay present. Again, focusing, balancing the hemispheres of the brain, right? Keeping the attention focused on the body. Whoa, I'm only supposed to move on my exhale. I can't think about something else right now. We'll do one more time to each side, moving only on the exhale. Move back on the exhale. And you know what? I'm going to have you guys go ahead and do one more time each side on your own. Just moving on the exhale. Focus on yourself for a moment. Pause on the inhale. Move on the exhale. I want you to really feel this in your body. Feel what this is like, especially for you those who do yoga. It's a little challenging to not move on that inhale, isn't it? We're so used to it. And when you are feeling complete, once you're done, we'll meet back here in center with the knees touching, hands on the belly or by your sides. Check in. What do you notice? How's your heartbeat? How's your breath? How's your jaw? And the mind? Is it wandering? Is it able to stay focused? We're going to do the same thing here with our neck. So we're going to take a nice breath here in center. As you exhale, look over the shoulder. Stay there and inhale. Exhale back to center. Stay and inhale. Exhale over to your left. Stay and inhale. Exhale back to center. Stay and inhale. And now you can add the legs back in. Maybe you were doing this before. I guess I was automatically because I was looking at you. But maybe the neck goes the opposite direction, right? Moving only on the exhale. Stay and inhale. Exhale, look over the other shoulder. I tend to not look away from the camera, so I know I didn't do it this way. Stay for your inhale. Exhale back to center, okay? So just a nice way. You can do that with any movement. You can do it with your arms, right? You can do it with your head. So I'm just focusing a little bit more on the lower body today. I've been focusing on the upper. If you feel like you want to move, you can always, right, move the arms. You can bring them up overhead, either as far as they go, right? Stay for the inhale, exhale back down. Stay for the inhale, exhale back up. Stay for the inhale, exhale back down. Stay for the inhale, exhale back up. Stay for the inhale. And on your exhale, we're going to go ahead and bring your knees into your chest, okay? Knees into your chest. Give yourself a little hug. Now, if you're sitting on the chair, you might just go ahead and curl a little forward and back like our cat-cow. You might just stretch back and forth, okay? You might just go ahead and make some circles with your hips. I'm going to go ahead and make some circles with my knees here. And we're going to come back to center. So we're going to follow, if you're sitting in a chair, you're going to follow the movement with your hands. You don't have to worry about bringing the knees into your chest while you're sitting, okay? I just want to give this as an option here. We're going to continue to move only on the exhale. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide my hands. On my exhale, I'm going to slide my hands towards my hips. Stay here for the inhale. And as I exhale, I'm going to slide my hands towards my knees. Because I'm lying down, my knees are going to come in. Stay here for the inhale. Exhale, slide my hands down towards my hips. Stay for the inhale. Exhale, slide my hands towards my knees. Stay for the inhale. Exhale, slide the hands towards the hips. Okay, so do that on your own 2 more times, moving only on the exhale. Maybe your eyes close, maybe they find a soft gaze. When you're feeling complete, we're going to go ahead and put the feet down onto the mat. All right, so this is the part of the practice where I start to feel like I'm going to yawn. So hopefully you're yawning out there. Again, that means our nervous system is moving out of fight, flight into rest and digest, and that is what we want, okay? So options here for you. We're going to move into some of our mindfulness techniques right now. So you might go ahead and put your legs up on a chair if you have one nearby. I moved mine away, so I'm not going to put them up. I'm just going to show you, right? Put your legs up on a chair. You might have a pillow or a cushion or a bolster, anything that's going to maybe support your back if you're going to stay lying on your back, because we're going to be here for like another 20 minutes. That was about 10 minutes or so of movement. I didn't exactly track it, but I want to say that was about 10 to 12 minutes. I did it very slowly also because I'm teaching. So that can be done, obviously, as much as you want. You can do more, you can do less, okay? So find a position that's comfortable for you. I'm going to go ahead and roll to a side. I'm going to come up because I'm going to be speaking this to you, and I think it'll be better if I'm sitting up. So I'm going to come back to my chair. I'm going to grab a sip of water if anyone needs water. And this is where you might, oh, it's so funny, I meant to, oh, I do have that up, okay. This is where you might get a pillow, you might get an eye pillow, you might get a blanket if you're cool. So you want to make sure that you're completely comfortable here, okay? So get what you need if there's anything that you need. And again, whether you're lying down or seated, if it's comfortable for you to close your eyes, you can go ahead and let your eyes close. And this is something that you might do on your own. So in yoga, sometimes maybe people have heard of hatha yoga, hatha, right? The moon and the sun. And so for calming yoga, we think about the moon, right? That's our feminine side, like the yin and the yang. And so thinking about the tha, the ha is the heat and the sun. And so the cooling aspect. So if this is somewhere that helps you to feel calm and relaxed, maybe visualize yourself near a body of water. That might be a lake, might be a pond, might be the ocean. Anywhere, maybe a waterfall, whatever it is that helps you to feel calm. And imagining that beautiful shining moon. Seeing the ripples of the water. Right? Maybe there's some sounds, whether it's the ocean or the pond, whatever it is that's calming. Feeling your body resting in the position that you're resting upon. And feel Your body sinking into whatever surface is supporting you. And imagining the stars above. I guess I think of evening time, right? Cool time. The stars twinkling, shining down on you, bringing a sense of ease into your body. Imagine using all of your senses, right? Your sight, sounds, smells, touch. Using all of your senses to bring you into this beautiful space, the calming water. The shining moon. And maybe that helps you drift off to sleep. Now I'm going to move through a series of techniques that can be done, again, if you're having trouble falling asleep or if you wake up in the middle of the night. And so I do these in an order, usually what I think of as the easiest first, the easiest one that it doesn't require too much thinking. Now, for some people, counting is agitating. So you can skip the counting one if that one doesn't feel good for you. For some people, it helps to turn their brain off. But if it's starting to turn on the part of your brain that's thinking about other things, then totally skip it. Okay, and I'll give you an option. Maybe actually I'll do these together, just so you have the option of choosing the one that feels best for you. Okay. So what we do is we inhale, and I'm going to show you, you can say in your head 50 and exhale 50. Inhale 49, exhale 49, right? So that's our counting method. So maybe just do that. Maybe try it for a few of those. If you like it, continue on. Just counting each breath backwards, in and out. Just want everyone to have the opportunity to try that if you care to. And the key here is, if you lose track of the count, as you're going along, you might start thinking about something else. You might start to fall asleep. But then all of a sudden you're like, oh, wait, where was I? You go back to 50. Okay? So that's one technique. Now, if you do not like numbers, you might use a mantra. Okay? Mantra is a word that helps us to focus. So it could be love, inhale love, and exhale love. Inhale love, exhale love. It could be inhale peace, exhale love, right? You could use two words. Try that out for a few breaths. Maybe there's a different word that comes to mind for you. Maybe you're starting to drift, or maybe you're wide awake. Okay. So that was the A version of each of these. The B version is to count only after you exhale. Once again, the exhale is like the calming mechanism on for the body. And so focusing the attention after the exhale. So this would be the example. Inhale, exhale, and then say 50 to yourself. Inhale, exhale, 49. Inhale, exhale, 48. Continuing like that. So only counting silently to yourself after the exhale. Are you getting sleepy? Okay. Same thing with the mantra. So now it would just be one word, right? Inhale, exhale, peace. Inhale, exhale, peace. Just saying the same word each time over and over. And that way we start to tire out the brain and the system. Okay. So those to me seem to be like my first line, my first go-to. Okay. So see how those work for you. Maybe give them a try if you haven't already. If you have, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next one. Okay, so that was 1 and 2 on my list. Now we're going to go to 3. And this one's called finger counting. That's what I call it. Finger counting or finger breathing. It's funny, I said finger counting. It's actually finger breathing. I have to change that. I've been giving this out. All right, so finger breathing. And I say this because you're going to imagine that you're breathing into your finger. We're not actually counting anymore. We're breathing. So we're going to start, I would say, if you're a righty, start on your left hand. If you're a lefty, start on your right hand. But for purposes today, I'm going to start us all in the same hand together, just so I guide you along, okay? But what I find is that when I do this, because I'm a righty, I do so much with my right hand, it almost like I'm thinking, so much around it that I find if I go to my left hand, it tires it out. But that's just me. You might find it's different. So, okay, we're all going to start now. Perhaps your eyes are closed. Remember, you don't have to look at me because I'm not actually doing anything. I'm just guiding you through with my voice, okay? So what we're going to do is you're going to inhale and exhale. Think about your right hand thumb. Inhale and exhale. Think about your index finger, right hand. Inhale and exhale. Middle finger. Inhale, exhale, ring finger. Just like that, the pinky finger. Now we're going to move over to the left hand, right? Inhale, exhale, you probably already did already. Left hand, pinky finger. Now we're going to move down the hand, bringing your attention to the ring finger. And now the middle finger. So I let you go now on your own to the index finger because you might be breathing at a different pattern than I'm saying. And then your left hand thumb. So if you're still awake, now you're going to repeat your left hand thumb. And now you're going to move back now to your index finger. Same hand, left hand, right? So you're going to move back up the left hand to the ring finger, the pinky finger. And then move over to the right hand. I hope I didn't skip a finger, but if I did, you'll get it, right? So now back to the pinky finger on the right hand, the ring finger, the middle finger, index finger, and the thumb. So basically, you just moved through the whole right hand from the thumb to the pinky, over to the pinky on the left hand, from the pinky down to the thumb, and then back from the thumb to the pinky on the left hand, and from the pinky back down to the thumb on the right hand. So it's like this kind of back and forth between the hands. And guess what? You just keep doing that until you fall asleep. Now, I know that sounds really tedious. Maybe some of you are already drifting right now. I hope so. But it actually, I find it doesn't get that tedious because my mind starts wandering pretty quickly. And so I have to go back and start at my thumb again. Now, either my mind wanders or it starts to fall asleep because it's very tiring. After I wander and come back like 3 times, oh, here I go. I got to go back to my thumb again. Middle, up, back to my thumb. Back. I barely sometimes get through one hand. And then the next thing you know, I wake up and it's the morning. So I'm just sharing with you. People have found this very helpful. Sometimes the mind is racing too much and it's just too annoying. So I have some other tools. But sometimes it's just right. Sometimes I forget and I start with this one and I forget and then I go back to the counting and it puts me out. So you can make these your own. Be playful with them. Have fun with them. Okay. Next is breathing the body. Maybe the other one's breathing the fingers, but I don't know, breathing the body, just the body, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to move through the body in a way like a wave, like moving from the toes all the way up the body and back down again. And we're going to do that a couple of times for the whole body. And then I'm going to just keep moving to just moving up the body little bits at a time. So it's going to be like a shorter and shorter area of the body that we're focusing on, okay? So if that doesn't make sense, just follow along with me. So this is an imagination, a visualization. You're imagining you're able to breathe from your toes on the inhale all the way up to the crown of your head, and on your exhale from the crown of your head down to your toes. Nice, slow, long exhale like we were doing before. And again, let the inhale come in freely, however, wherever you get. See if you can bring in that long exhale. What was your number today? See if that feels good for you all the way down. Okay. Now we're going to inhale from the shins all the way up to the top of your head. And then from the top of your head down to your shins. And again, the shins all the way up and back down. Then you might move to the knees all the way up and back down. This is again where you get to decide, where does your mind land next, right? Back to the knees all the way up and back down. Then to the thighs, moving all the way up to the crown of your head and back down to the thighs. And again, I'm going to do everything twice. It kind of gives an opportunity to locate that position, right? Now we're going to move the hips from, not move, we're going to move the breath from the hips up to the crown of the head and back down. And again, from the hips all the way up and back down. And then the belly all the way up, back down. So it might be like a little bit, right? Shorter movement, but maybe can you make your exhale still last that long, right? Slowly down to your belly. And then imagining now moving through all 10 fingers all the way up your arms and back down. From your fingertips all the way up and back down. Maybe the elbows all the way up and back down. So this requires a little bit more of attention, right? All the way up and back down. And maybe the upper arms and the shoulders. Upper arms and the shoulders. Relaxing all the muscles now around the eyes, the cheeks, the nose, and the jaw. Feeling everything soften, all the muscles soften throughout your entire body. Notice, are you drifting? Are you still wide awake? If you're wide awake, you can go through that whole process again on your own, or you can move on to the next exercise. So the next exercise we call progressive relaxation, okay? And so I end with this one because I feel like now if we're really still wide awake and we can feel tension in our body, we need to move our body a little bit more, then go ahead. If you know that you just have tension in your body and you want to start with this one, you're always welcome to. So again, no hard rules, no fast, hard rules on this, just invitations about what might work, what's worked for me, what's worked for others, what might work for you, and we put it all together and we play, right? Make this your playground. So what I want to make sure is that you're not holding your breath here. You might hold some tension in your body only if that feels good for you, okay? So when you're ready, on an inhale, maybe squeeze your toes, tighten and tense your toes and your feet, holding as long as feels comfortable for you. When you're ready to exhale, letting go. Okay? And doing that again, squeezing your toes, squeezing your feet. And when you're ready, letting go. Okay? Taking a moment. I just want to check into if anybody's Lying down, if you're noticing you need to move at all, feel free to move. If you're seated and you want to lie down, I forgot to give you a moment, you might want to switch. You can do that on your own, of course, right? Remembering that if your legs are elevated, it's uncomfortable, or you have high blood pressure, bring your legs down, right? Especially because we're going to squeeze and release now. So I just want to give that little bit of an extra note, okay? So again, squeezing the toes and the feet. And when you're ready, exhale and relax. We're going to move up into the legs, the buttocks, right? The hips, just squeezing the whole lower body. Squeeze, squeeze as much as feels comfortable for you. And when you're ready, relax and let go. Right? You can always exhale out of the mouth. And again, when you're ready, you're going to squeeze, tense up the legs, the buttocks, the hips, squeeze, squeeze the whole lower body. And when you're ready, on and exhale, relax. Let go. Now we're going to move up to the fingers and the hands, maybe squeezing the fingers, making fists tighten, right? The hands, and whenever you're ready, when it's comfortable for you, release and relax. And again, on an inhale, squeeze the fingers, right? The hands, when you're ready, relax. And again, on an inhale, squeeze the arms, the shoulders, the jaw. Funny, I know I'm noticing that my lower body's squeezing also, tensing up. See whatever squeezes and tenses for you. We're focusing just on the upper body right now. When you're ready, relax. And again, inhale, squeeze the hands, the fingers, the shoulders, the whole upper body. When you're ready, relax. Notice if there's any tingling in the upper body, tingling in the lower body. I forgot to take that pause after the lower body. Notice if that's true for you. What sensation do you feel in your body? Is there still a little bit of tension left? If there is, you might go ahead and squeeze and tense the entire body. So beginning with the toes, the fingers, the shoulders, squeeze, squeeze, tighten, tighten as much as is comfortable for you. And when you're ready, on an exhale, relax and let go. Check in, notice how you feel. What are you experiencing in this moment? Do you still feel the need to tighten and tense anymore here? If you do, one more time, squeezing the toes, squeezing the fingers, squeezing the hands, tighten, tighten as much as is comfortable for you. When you're ready, relax, let go. Check in. How does your body feel in this moment? Now here's an awesome moment, okay? Maybe you've gone through all of these. Just imagine you've gone through all of these on your own. And now you're feeling like you're still awake just a little bit. You need just like a little bit more. Maybe you can go back to the counting. Maybe the counting's going to support you. Maybe the mantra. Maybe the finger breathing. Maybe one more of these. Okay? I have something that I often do with people too. It's called a Yoga Nidra guided meditation. I'm going to be doing that down the line in a couple of weeks. I'm going to do a whole workshop just on that. And the only reason why I don't incorporate into this right now is because I want to not focus on electronics, as I said earlier in the practice, right? I want to invite you to see if you can use any of these tools to support you, to not rely on something outside of yourself or something that requires you to go and turn on a recording. I will provide that tool to you later on. But for today, I wanted to invite you just to do this. And I know some of you might use this recording later, right? Maybe at the beginning you can always use this if you really need to. But the Yoga Nidra I do is a separate, and actually it incorporates many of the things we just did, to be honest with you, but I do it as a whole piece. This was more of a learning. This was more of a teaching. So just notice how you feel here. Maybe take the next minute or so. We have just a couple of minutes left, and see if one of those tools speaks to you that you want to practice on your own to really get it into your body so that you remember how to do it when you need it, when the time comes for you and you need it. Take this time breathing into your body, seeing what you need. So if you're finding that your body needs to continue to rest here, I invite you to stay right where you are. Continue breathing, continue doing what you're doing. Allow your body to rest. If you're wanting to begin to awaken the body, then perhaps deepening your breath, deepening your inhalation, right? So the inhalation is the Brahmana, the awakening, the ha. Maybe beginning to deepen your inhale, perhaps bringing movement into your body, maybe wiggling your fingers, maybe wiggling your toes. See how your body wants to move. Maybe a yawn comes to mind, maybe stretching, yawning, maybe arms over the chest, over the head. Oh. If you feel like your body wants to move, maybe a twist. If you're sitting in the chair, maybe roll the shoulders forward, up, and back. If you're lying down, maybe bring the knees into your chest, give yourself a little hug. Maybe circling around for your hips, circling your knees, either seated or lying down. Ooh, maybe a gentle little twist. Just be gentle if you've been in a position for a little while, right? If you did want to waken yourself up and, come maybe lie on your side for a moment if that feels comfortable for you, or use the momentum to bring yourself upright if you care to, but you don't have to. You're always welcome to close class right where you are. So I'm going to invite those of you who care to bring the palms of the hands together right at the heart center. Right? Taking that moment of gratitude for yourself, for taking this time in your day to stretch, relax, and restore, to notice sensation in your body to help support you with your sleep, leaving you with a sense of ease, calm, and peace throughout the rest of your day. Namaste. Thank you all again for joining me here today. Again, my name is Sharon Holly. I'm a certified yoga therapist, and I hope that you can come back tomorrow, Wednesday at 2 p.m. I'm going to be doing a 30-minute practice. We're just going to do this practice. It's going to be something to the first steps to living well, how this practice can support you on your own. And I'm going to have a little Q&A just tomorrow afterwards from 2:30 to 2:45 as we get started on this 10-day practice. And you can join in at any time. If you can't come tomorrow, come the next day. Come at any time that you can come. Watch the recording later. We just really want to help support you in starting creating your own practice. We're going to make it really easy for everybody, okay? So thank you again. I wish you ease and peace. Take good care. Namaste.